Hi everybody, Shannon Petrovich with Therapist Talks. Narcissists and their many addictions. Why do all addicts seem like narcissists? Why do most narcissists struggle with multiple addictions? And why do some people seem to be cured from their narcissism when they recover from addictions, while others are just as narcissistic when they get sober? In this video, we'll explore the complex web of connectedness between narcissists and their many addictions. The brain disease of addiction is pretty complex. For the best scientific explanation, see any of the TED Talks by Dr. Kevin McCauley or his documentary called Pleasure Unwoven. In a nutshell, and in admittedly non-scientific terms, there are genetic predispositions as well as environmental trauma-related and other reasons that a brain becomes sensitized to addiction. And then, when it's flooded with a dopamine-blasting agent or activity, some people's brains become attached to that experience, and over time, they internalize it as a survival need above all others. This is marked by intense compulsivity towards that substance or dopamine-blasting activity, and a propensity to become compulsive in numerous other dopamine-blasting activities or substances. To see if you've developed a compulsion, you may want to watch a video I did a while back called Addiction: 9 Quick Questions to Help You Know If You Have an Addiction. Once someone has developed an addiction, it's hard to break free. It usually takes help from professionals and/or 12-step groups to help to release the hold of that compulsion, as well as to put some healthier coping strategies and activities into the place where that addiction or compulsion used to be. Why are narcissists particularly prone to addictions? Well, let's remember, a narcissist by definition is internally empty and needs constant feeding of their ego, their needs, and their delusions. When they experience any loss of that fuel, they will collapse like a hot air balloon. They can go from bigger than life to a crumpled mess of fabric in moments. The narcissist is already, in a sense, addicted to the attention and adoration of others, and compulsively seeks and sucks the life out of everyone in their world. This same internal emptiness makes them also prone to other addictions. Let's look at the most common. Drugs and alcohol are the most obvious, and narcissists typically use and abuse heavily. It seems cocaine and opiates are the primary substances, in addition to alcohol, perhaps because of their euphoria and their feeding a sense of grandiosity. Narcissists will often destroy themselves and their families in the depths of their addiction. Parents, children, and partners of the narcissist often get lost trying to figure out which is the addiction and what is their narcissism. The narcissist partner or other family members take the brunt of this deadly combination of narcissism and drugs and alcohol. Anything that doesn't go exactly as the narcissist wants is always a fight, but fueled by drugs and alcohol, the gloves really come off. If they aren't getting enough attention, if they think their partner looked at someone, texted someone, or flirted with someone else, there are sure to be epic explosions and meltdowns that won't end until the partner convinces the narcissist they are wholly devoted to them and deeply sorry for their quote-unquote offense. There's often a revolving door through treatment as the results of their behavior at some point land them in some sort of trouble or up against someone's boundary. For a minute, they want help to get out of the trouble, but soon they find that they have to look at themselves if they go into treatment, and they will exit as soon as they can sign themselves out. Families are often on a roller coaster of hope and devastation, and they live in continual fear of what will happen next. Sex addiction. Narcissists are notorious sex addicts. Because they, by definition, are non-empathic, don't recognize or care about others' needs or emotions, they don't love in the truest sense of the word. When they say, "I love you," that really means you're meeting my needs right now, and I'm temporarily pleased by you. Since they don't love, they also don't ever make love. Sex to them is to satisfy their selfish needs, to conquest others, and to feel good about themselves for the moment. They can run the gamut from just selfish to vicious and cruel. They will use and abuse their partner for their next high whenever the whim hits them, and they have no compunctions about hurting them emotionally or physically to get their needs met. In addition, they will conquest others to feed their fragile ego. Often a partner will wonder, "I gave them everything, why would they cheat?" Their needs are as insatiable as a cocaine addict's, and their conquests are not because they love someone else. A narcissist is like a black hole in the universe, sucking any and all energy out of their environment, and all of it disappears into the abyss. These compulsions become survival level inside them, and you can't fix any of what's broken within them with anything you do. When someone is a serial cheater, this is not going to change, and you have to save yourself the heartache and move on. The remorse they may share when they're caught, it's not genuine. They're not sorry for what they did, they're upset you caught them. They may also be temporarily scared that you will pull the plug on the supply of fuel you're giving them. Don't get sucked in with this pseudo-remorse. Unless they go into serious treatment for their addictions and narcissism and commit to long-term recovery, these dynamics are not going to change. Gambling. I've known narcissists who have destroyed their lives believing they are just the next card hand or dice roll or online play away from their fortune. Because they feel entitled, superior, and that they deserve to be adored and given everything, they are heavily set up to be gambling addicts. Of course, casinos and online gambling sites feed this by letting people win enough to get them believing they can keep winning. And the narcissist delusion fits right into the gambling life. They will take every win as validation, and every loss will either be brushed under the rug or they'll even get angry at someone else or something else for making them lose. They will use these stories to fuel their drive to find more money by hook or crook, to continue to go after that next high they get from the next win. Video gaming. Video gaming has now been defined by the World Health Organization as an addiction. Video games are the new drug that so many younger people are highly addicted to. The intermittent rushes of dopamine, the challenge to reach higher levels, the overall numbing and distraction from real life, all leads to a cycle of compulsion which is consistent with other addictions. When it becomes more important than relationships, work, or school, when it takes up time you know you should be doing other things, when you dwell on it throughout your day, when you know you need to be focused on other priorities, it's becoming an addiction. Of course, there are many other addictions. These are just the main and most notorious in our current culture. Narcissists also have addictions to food, hoarding, plastic surgery, lots of things. So here's the confusing part. Most, maybe all, people who are lost in addiction are very narcissistic. It's part of the disease of addiction to become self-centered, dishonest, disregarding of others, and obsessed with meeting the drive to use the object of their compulsion. I've seen many addicts in recovery truly let go of their narcissistic traits and become wonderful human beings. Their narcissism was not a personality disorder, but a product of their full-blown addiction. But other addicts in recovery are just as narcissistic. I've even seen some people weaponize their recovery and abuse others as much or more sober than they did while using. These are the personality disordered people who also happen to have addiction issues. These narcissists in recovery look to be embracing recovery. They run in recovery circles, they spout all the right words, and they still run roughshod over people with their same old narcissistic traits. They treat everyone the same, abusing their partners, guilting and blaming them, using their new recovery speak to emotionally trash their partners as much as they ever did. They also prey on people new to recovery, and they use and abuse them mercilessly. They often create a wake of destruction behind them, and then they're still seen by as recovery rock stars by some folks who hear them talk the talk. They're really dangerous to newcomers when they use their new language and pool of vulnerable people to control and use for their ongoing supply. If you're in a relationship with somebody newly in recovery, watch for their true personality to emerge fully before deciding whether to stay in relationship. In summary, narcissism and addictions go hand in hand as the narcissist fills themselves with the adoration of others and whatever other dopamine blasting thing that they can get. Addicts in recovery may let go of their self-centered traits and show that they were not real narcissists, while narcissists in recovery are still very toxic and abusive to their partners, family members, workmates, and other people newly in recovery. Don't be guilted into staying with someone if they're still emotionally or physically abusive. Tell yourself the truth about what you're experiencing and don't make yourself stay because they got sober. If you struggle with an addiction or compulsion, there are AA hotlines in every area. You can find it online or in your phone book. Learning to live life in recovery involves learning to replenish ourselves in healthy ways. For many, this is a spiritual journey, and we fill up with prayer and meditation, focusing on a creator, source, or nature. For others, the science of mindfulness can be a self-calming, self-soothing practice that centers and replenishes us without a spiritual connection. Rejuvenating and self-calming are practices we all need as we navigate this hectic and challenging world. If you've appreciated this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below with any kind of suggestion or request for a new video. And please take good care of yourselves. It's a hectic, challenging world, and we all need to take good care of ourselves. I'll talk to you again soon.